Gotta tell you, this 23andMe, a lot of big news around this. One of the headline stories is maybe not the bigger one you heard about the company, but this is still kind of troubling. A Connecticut mother discovered her high school boyfriend is actually her half-brother. She learned that she was the victim of fertility fraud, and it all came through 23andMe, where she found out that her mother's fertility doctor was actually her biological father.
What?
And then she went on and had no idea and was dating her half-brother as a result. That's why you can't mess with this DNA kind of stuff.
Wow,
Her
that's
half-brother.
crazy.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, that could have been her baby daddy if they had, slipped up in high school.
Better to know than not to know, but I think this was a thing. Fertility doctors, there's a whole special on Netflix about this. Fertility doctors back in the day, it was probably a cost-cutting measure. They would use their own sperm if they were shady. And think about it. If you have to pay guys $75 to give you a sperm sample, you can just make your own sperm sample for free and keep the profits and charge the prospective mom the full price.
And I think some guys have a weird power trip wanting to feel like they're just seeding the world, and how many of my kids are out there walking around.
I think it's human nature. I think you're programmed that way because you are an animal built to procreate.
Yeah. So, that'll let you know, though, this is a Connecticut mom that discovered it was her high school boyfriend, which lets you know that it's not something that happened recently, which also speaks to how long we've had some of these DNA services that have been out there, like 23andMe. But boy, now the problems are really starting to rear its ugly head because of it. I don't know if you had heard this, but 23andMe has declared bankruptcy.
Oh, no.
And they're eventually going to have to sell their assets to pay its creditors off. And they say if you're one of the over 15 million people who have provided saliva samples to them, unless you take action, there is a risk your genetic information could wind up elsewhere and potentially be used in ways you never wanted. In fact, I heard the biggest concern is that they might sell off to either a Chinese or Russian company.
Oh.
That they seem to be very interested in getting the DNA samples of Americans for whatever reason.
That's horrifying.
It's crazy that this all turned out to be a bad idea.
I know.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. Pretty insane stuff. Now, here is a little bit about the woman who discovered that her boyfriend was actually her brother.
Yeah, finding out that you're dating your brother, that's good. Having everybody get your DNA that wants to do bad stuff with it, that's bad.
Well, I don't know. Finding out you're dating your brother, how far do we go with this dating?
I think you know.
Well, then it's not that good then.
Here's what she had to say about it.
As I'm telling this story, my high school boyfriend and now friend kind of started to look like he was turning something over in his head because his mother had recently also told him that the reason why him and his brother, also a really good friend of mine, were his mother went out for fertility treatment with his father. And so Yale was kind of it at the time. So we just kind of assumed that she must have gone to the same place. And, he ultimately called his mother, and his mother confirmed that the same doctor had done her procedure. And so then it was a waiting game, and we all just kind of sat there in disbelief that this was something we were even entertaining, and we made jokes, but it just felt very surreal. And sure enough, within a couple of weeks, he sent me the screenshot that said, "You are my sister." And, the mind-boggling thing about it was just, as he sent me this screenshot, it also, you have the notification on your phone from 23andMe, you have a new half-sibling. And so just that realization, it's just, felt like I was on the Truman Show. Like it's just one next thing that hits after another, and we still don't know what's to come.
No. Hey, you have a new half-sibling, and by the way, you banged him.
What do you do if you really fell in love with the person and I found my soulmate, and then you find this out? Do you stay?
I'm not going to tell you what to do if you feel like he's your soulmate.
You can't legally marry your half-brother, so you have to split it up. Yeah, there's no question. Unless you just want to live a lawless life. You got to split up and say we can't do this. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, the law will not allow you to stay together.
Is the doctor that did the shady fertility dealings still alive? And if so, Can he be prosecuted?
Yeah, he could be prosecuted, and I assume he's not, or either he is alive and they are going after him. So I don't know. They didn't say anything about that in the story, what's going on with the doctor.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I was just looking into this because this is half brother, half sister. I was just seeing what the line was at. And even at first cousin, 24 U.S. states prohibit marriages between first cousins.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And that's first cousins, less than.
Yeah, half brother's not even a question.
Not
half
even a
sibling,
question.
not even a question. That is off the table.
That'd be like me dating my brother Tuna
Yeah.
I think you'd make a lovely couple.
or my sister Tina.
Yeah. So, I mean, for all the cool things that you got out of some of these DNA genetic testing sites like 23andMe, it has caused a lot of problems and grief. And now the latest thing is, okay, you're not talking about just your regular personal or banking data. You're talking about your genetic code that might fall into nefarious hands that you don't want. And so that's why I think some people are very alarmed. So let's say you did use 23andMe in the past, and you're one of the 15 million people who's concerned that maybe your genetic information could wind up in the wrong hands. How do you even get rid of it? Here's a quick breakdown on how to delete your data.
Here's how to delete. You log into your account and go to Settings. At the bottom of the page, go to 23andMe Data and then delete your data. You're going to have to put in your birthday. From here, you can download your data so that it's saved to your personal device. And then you can go ahead and permanently delete your data. If you previously opted for 23andMe to retain your saliva sample, you can update your preferences in the Preferences section of your account settings. You can also withdraw consent for your genetic information to be used by third-party researchers under the Research and Product Consent section.
Yeah, just put in your birthday and then your social security number.
Your mom's maiden name.
Your checking account.
Right.
The Chinese will love all this information when they get it.
Ain't nothing deleted no more.
And somebody else texted in here too, and they said the worst thing that can happen with selling your DNA is it could be purchased by an insurance company, and then you would be denied for future coverage because of potential genome abnormalities.
Oh, if they found out Virginia's got witch's disease, like, oh, we don't cover that. Your premiums are higher now.
They would say, yeah, you have a, I know.
Witchetitis?
Yeah.
Witchetitis, yeah.
A lot of people will do that to check for BRCA genes and things like that with breast cancer. So if an insurance company got your DNA information and saw that you were high risk for breast cancer, then they may be like, yeah, we're not going to sell you that life insurance policy.
Is that the worst thing that they can do with your DNA? Like, is this a stupid question? What can somebody who's bad do with your DNA?
Clone you, Virginia.
Oh my gosh, I will buy that clone. I will put that hooker to work.
I don't think they can clone you.
I would love a clone. Even if she's a little bit squirrely, I could deal with it.
That is a good question. What is the worst that can happen with it? If you're not in that situation that the brother and sister, or you're just a person that did it, what can happen?
Well, if we have an evil scientist out there, please call in and let us know. What would you do with all this DNA information if you got it?
I wish.
What is the value?
What's the worst thing that could happen if you have a 23andMe account and somebody nefarious gets a hold of your DNA?
Somebody said they could actually plant your DNA at a crime scene.
Oh.
Can you imagine that? Whoa. That would be something.
That would be something. That would lead to so many conspiracy theories.
Yeah. Another evil scientist who listens to our show said they can create viruses specific to the masses that have that DNA, something that would target it and trigger it. So maybe if you had a different kind of DNA, it would be DNA specific. So that's why you would see that maybe, it'll be like, hey, don't worry, if you're China, our population's mainly Asian. So we can come up with something that would attack people that have non-Asian DNA.
The witchinosis DNA gene. Yeah, you witches are done.
Okay.
Witchitosis?
Witchitosis.
Okay. Will be interesting. I'm sure there are a lot of people that are going through right now trying to delete their 23andMe DNA data.
Yeah, I'm so happy I went with Ancestry.com.
This is how we do. It's the KBJ Show.